Hello, everyone. Um, I think you already know I work for Facebook. It has just announced that. I work on a team that is called marketing research. And what we do is we try to understand people's behavior and translate that to marketers on how they can actually act better. I don't know if anybody here is hungry. I sure am hungry already. It's already 4:30. So during the break, I was seeing this announcement that people have been giving donuts around. Anybody tried this? Yeah? Is it good? Yeah. I'm sure craving for those donuts ever since I saw that they're doing this. So, and our research is actually about this. We were trying to understand what is driving people to fast food restaurants. And I'm going to give you the answer right in the beginning. Crave is what's driving people to get this. And so before going straight to the results, I know that a lot of people here are interested in that, in the methodology. What we did is we matched a survey that we served on Qualtrics with 1,700 people in the US with our internal data. We actually took a look at Facebook on how people were checking in on Facebook on QSR, which is quick service restaurants, and tried to understand what they were doing, who were those people, and how they would differentiate from the average population on Facebook. And so quick methodology here as well for fast food restaurants. What we consider fast food restaurants is basically brands like you're already used to, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, I've seen some interesting ads here, Burger King, etc. We're not talking about restaurants that you typically sit and there's a server coming to get your order. And what we focused mostly here was on three groups. We looked at frequent diners. It's people that they had to go to fast food restaurants at least twice a week, and they have to have been in a restaurant in the past 7 days. Occasional diners, so those people, they don't go as much. They have to be at least once in the last month, but not more than once a week. And they have to have been the past 30 days. And the people that don't eat or almost never eat fast food, and we use this group more of a control than actually went through a lot of results with those guys. So the first insight that we saw is that the frequent diners, they are actually experiential and experimental. And what does that mean? It means that they like the whole experience of eating out. They like to go to a restaurant, to sit and to eat and to explore all the possibilities that they see in the menu. So they are a lot more likely to be eating out, to prefer eating out over cooking at home when we compare to occasional diners. They are more likely to prefer eating at a restaurant than getting a takeout, and they are more likely to trying new things on the menu. So whenever there's a seasonal menu in any chain, those are the guys that probably are tasting those seasonal menus. They're tasting the new flavors that the restaurants are offering. On the other hand, occasional diners, they are more loyal and they prefer more consistency. So they're not going to be experimenting a lot, but they're going to be driven a lot more by crave than the frequent diners. So if they're going to get something, for me, something like having nuggets. I love having nuggets. So when I'm craving for something, I know exactly where I have to go and what kind of thing that I'm going to order. So for occasional diners, it's more like this. They are not going to be experimenting a lot. They are more likely to prefer cooking at home than the frequent diners. They are more likely to eat alone as well. So they don't consider this a whole experience. They just go there to get what they want. They're ordering the same thing on the menu, and they're going to the same restaurant. So one message that we're sending for brands is that they actually have to understand the difference between these two big audiences, which are people that are always there, that are always going, and people that they are not as frequent, but they have to understand that they're loyal and they're not going to be experimenting a lot of new stuff. The second thing that we saw is that social has a big influence on how people go to restaurants. Looking at our internal data, we were analyzing what was the profile of people that were checking in. So interestingly, at least I was not expecting that Gen X was actually more likely to be checking in than the overall population. Parents, that's something we were kind of figuring out because kids love fast food as well. And within our multicultural community, so people that had more affinity to African American culture and people with more affinity to the Hispanic culture, they were also a lot more likely to be going to those restaurants. But at the same time that we saw that Gen Xers, they were checking in a lot more on QSR, we noticed from our survey that millennials are the ones that are going more to restaurants. They agree that they go to fast food restaurants because they want to see their peers there. They're going to meet their peers there. Even though when they get there, they're not necessarily checking in and saying, hey, I'm here. They're going there to meet with their friends. So a message that we're giving to brand is that they actually have to give social validation for millennials to make a fast food choice. A third point that I'd like to make here is that and this is something that I showed you before, is what is actually driving people to the restaurant and its cravings. We saw that over 50% of frequent diners are going to fast food because they're craving. So that means that the other half, they're going as a habit. They're not necessarily craving something, but they want something fast, they want something that is easy, or they want something cheap. And on occasional diners, we can see that this is what is driving them most of the time. So almost 70% of occasional diners, they're visiting the fast food restaurants because they're craving a specific thing. So frequent diners, they are going to fast food as a habit. They are more likely than occasional diners to agree that fast food restaurants, that they go on a fast food restaurant as something that is part of their routine already. They're almost 2.6 times more likely to say that. And what we say to brands is that we should use the crave as a moment to actually target those occasional diners. And at the same time, you have to have in mind that the frequent diners, even though they're going every time to restaurants, they're not going necessarily to your branch. So they might be going to another brand, they might be going to another restaurant. You have to have that in mind when you're targeting them. And the fourth and final insight that we got out of this was that mobile can actually create a crave for everyone. Crave is something that is really instant, is something that happens at a moment. You can't really, we should try to identify how people actually, when they feel the crave for something, but it's something that is really hard. So with a mobile, it's something you can reach people at every moment, including at the time that they are craving for something. So what we saw is when people actually, they want to decide to go to a restaurant, we saw that 53% of the diners, of the frequent diners, they go to their mobile. They get their mobile to decide which restaurant they're going. While for occasional diners that happen with 41%, which is a big deal as well. We saw that our platforms, they have a big influence on that. We saw that looking at photos and pictures of friends and family is a big influence on what people are going to, on where people are going to decide where to dine. So they're going to be looking at Instagram and Facebook pictures to be inspired, or the other way around. They're going to be impacted by that, and it's going to come as a crave for them to actually go there. And we saw that one thing that is really interesting is messaging today is popping up like crazy. And we're seeing that they're using a lot Messenger to communicate, either to communicate to their family and friends on where they're going to eat, or to sometimes talk to a brand. And we saw that they would use almost 50% of people, of frequent diners, they would use Facebook Messenger to place an order to a fast food restaurant. And one other thing that is interesting is that occasional diners, they are over 2 times more likely than people that don't eat at fast food at all to be using this to decide where to go to eat. So to decide, and this is, we're talking about not only fast food restaurant, but anywhere. Are we eating outside? Are we eating home? Are we asking for a delivery? Are we cooking, etc. So messaging is something that we have been seeing that is becoming a really raising opportunity for brands to connect to their customers, and not only for QSR, but overall. So really quickly, the key takeaways, because I'm done with my time. So frequent diners, they value experience and options, and while occasional diners, they prefer consistency. Whenever you're targeting frequent diners, you should understand that they want to have more options and to see more things on the menu, while the occasional diners, they're looking for something that is more consistent, and it's something that they're really craving. Millennials, they have a lot of influence on social, so they want to go to restaurants to be with their friends. They want to go there to actually eat with their friends and make this a social moment. Craving specific foods is something that actually drives people to QSR. That's what has been driving people a large proportion of time. And finally, mobile, they can help brands actually drive customers to their restaurants. And the use of new technologies like messaging would be something that would increase a lot the power of the brand. So to see more details about this study and a whole bunch that we do, please access facebook.com/IQ. And yeah, I'm going to open for questions now.